All right, so we've made it through the 10 essential hand tools that every homeowner should have, the 10 essential power tools that every homeowner should have, and that now leads us to today's video, the 10 essential specialty tools that every homeowner should have. These are the tools that you don't use that often, but they're absolutely necessary to get the job done and to get it done well. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Coming in at number one is a voltage tester. Now, if you've never used one of these, it's really simple. Plug this into the hot side of a plug this into the neutral, and it's gonna light up and tell you whether or not it's hot or not, okay? This tool is a must-have for every homeowner. You can also, by the way, you don't need to have a plug or a switch already. You can just plug this directly onto the wires. Plug the black into the hot, red into the neutral. It'll tell you whether or not the circuit's live or not. Must have, because when you're doing any type of remodel work or you're working with electrical, you got to make sure you get the breaker turned off before you start cutting up wires. So all you do is just plug it in and you'll see it's lit up at 110. Okay, so that's your 120 volt, but it's producing 110 volts of electricity as of right now. So the primary purpose of the voltage tester is to test whether or not the outlet or a wire is hot. So every once in a while I plug this into my wife just to make sure she's still hot. All right, tool number two, the speed square. This, particularly if you're a framer or a tile guy, is your wingman. This is the greatest tool ever invented. You just get your pencil, pop it on the side if you need to cut a straight line. You've got all your angles here. It's measured on the center line here, so you can twist and turn, mark where your 30-degree angle is, line it up, and just hit your line. This is one of the best tools ever invented, and it always is going to give you a perfect 90 and a perfect 45. Great tool to have. Tool number three, the wet dry vac, commonly known as the shop vac. This is the most powerful sucker in the house. It inhales sawdust, screws, Legos. I also use it to kill mayflies and June bugs on my back porch. You absolutely should get a 16-gallon wet dry vac. So underneath here is a filter, and that's for the dry vacuuming. You want to do some wet vacuuming, like sucking up water, you just take the filter out. That's it. That's all you have to do. Make sure you always keep the interior of your tank clean. You clean out your filter once or twice a month, or however, depends on how often you use it. But those filters will last you forever if you clean them. So you don't have to go buy a new filter at $18 or $20 a piece, whatever they are. I just take them outside and throw the leaf blower on them and clear out all the dust and all that. Works just as well. Great tool to have in your arsenal. Absolutely a must-have. All right, tool number four, my heat gun. I love this thing. Got two settings, minimal heat, high heat. I use this for three things. First, we use it to remove paint. It'll help melt paint to make it easier to peel off. I can also use it, sometimes I use it for taking off wallpaper. Don't use it as much for that, but really it's meant for paint, but then also for removing glass on windows. This will melt all the glue and glazing that holds the windows in place. But its primary purpose, I kick it on and I use it to keep my wife warm during movie night. All right, tool number five. This is a thermal imaging camera. This is one of the coolest and greatest specialty tools ever made. I use this thing for so many different things. It gives me X-ray vision when I need it. I use this to check to see how my insulation is in the attic. I can use this to determine whether or not there's a plumbing leak in a wall. And it's great for testing on people to see how cold-blooded they really are. Tool number 6, the wrecking bar. This is the original home wrecker. This makes Susie down the street look like an amateur. This doesn't care about your feelings and leaves nothing but a path of destruction in her wake. Swing it like Thor, be prepared to run, and don't ever swing at a load-bearing wall. You can use this to pull anything out. This is great for pulling up 4x8 sheets of subfloor, great for leverage to pull out studs. It's also great for using it as leverage to get twisted studs back to normal position as you're framing them in. Tool number 7, the Sledge Hammer. This tool is pure, unadulterated, primal destruction. Just swing and boom. All of a sudden, you feel so much better. I mean, all of your microaggressions are gone, your hatred and anger towards your spouse and your boss. Yeah, primary and only purpose is demolition, unless you're throwing down railroad spikes, but very few of us do that nowadays. I kicked the habit. I kicked the habit. Shed my skin. Tool number 8, a bottle jack. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, what the heck do I need a bottle jack for? Well, it's not just for your car to change a tire. We also use this in framing quite a bit. So we'll put a post on here if we need to lift a wall up to put a beam in, if we're taking out a load-bearing wall, or if we're putting in a beam on a load-bearing wall to help hold the weight in order to get our cripple studs in underneath. So we use this quite a bit. I did this here on the staircase. So we had an area here where this was out just a little bit. They needed to be shimmed up. So I had to jack up one of the joists. Tool number 9, the staple gun. It's quick, effective, satisfying, slightly dangerous, like your high school girlfriend. Used for putting in insulation and having fights with your wife. You can also use it for fixing upholstery and all sorts of other DIY projects. Tool number 10, the stud finder. I'm fighting it so hard right now not to do the easiest low-hanging fruit dad joke, so just bear with me. Place it along the wall. Right now I'm doing a stud scan. Okay, so there's a stud right here. Now, what I like about this particular model is it not only does wood, but it also does metal scans, and it also looks for ferrous and non-ferrous material like copper. And then it also does an AC scan, so it'll tell me if I have any where the electrical wires are in the wall. So these things have come a very long way since I first started using them. And when we did it, it would pick up a pipe, and that, you couldn't tell the difference if it was a stud or a pipe, particularly if, what the walls weren't drywall like this where you could see where the mud was, even if it was just wallpaper. But anyway, so get yourself a stud finder. This is one of the best tools to have. Saves you a ton of time. And so nice to be validated.
Here are some bonus tools to consider. A 30-degree framing nailer. A trim gun that shoots brads anywhere from 2 3/4 down to 1.5. A brad nailer, 1.5 to 5/8 brad nails is what it'll shoot. Good for cabinet work. And a hardwood flooring stapler.
All right, so now that we've covered the 10 essential hand tools that every homeowner should have, and the 10 essential power tools that every homeowner should have, and now we just finished the 10 essential specialty tools that every homeowner should have, you're ready to tackle just about any project that can be thrown at you. Your honey-do list is no longer a honey-do list. It's your chance to become a weekend warrior. Thank you so much for tuning into The Common Sense Dad. Both my wife and I are very, very grateful. This is actually her idea. I'm just a pawn in her scheme. So now that you have all these tools, you can fix your marriage. And that's coming up on the next episode of The Common Sense Dad. No, it isn't. We're not going to talk about that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.